The stars looked different from the viewing deck of the asterisk, harmonious convergence asterisk. Chief xenobiologist Kelfar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence as he studied the data on the screen. His thin, gray fingers tapped symbols on the floating display. Another primitive species, he muttered to himself. But this one shows promise. The screen showed images of Earth, blue oceans, green lands, and white clouds. It also showed cities, roads, and spacecraft. Kelfar was most interested in the humans themselves. They looked soft and weak compared to other species in the Galactic Confederation. But their history told a different story. So much fighting, he said, scrolling through human wars. Yet they still advance. Curious. Commander Junho Kim stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Pathfinder *. He was tall and strong, with short black hair and alert eyes. His blue uniform showed he was important in Earth's Unified Space Command. "Sir, we're picking up something strange near Pluto," said Officer Hyunwoo Baek. Hyunwoo had been in Special Forces before joining the space program. His hands moved quickly over the controls. Junho walked to the main screen. "What is it?" "It's big. Not a comet. Not an asteroid. It's moving on its own." Junho's heart beat faster. "Call Dr. Tadwan and Engineer Subin. We need to check this out." Within an hour, a small team prepared to take a shuttle closer to the object. Dr. Tadwan Park, a man with kind eyes and a serious face, packed his science equipment. Engineer Subin Lee, a woman with short hair and steady hands, checked the shuttle systems. "This could be it," Taiwan said quietly to Junho. "First contact." Junho nodded. "Or it could be space junk. Let's not get excited yet." But he felt it too. Something important was about to happen. On the harmonious convergence alarm sounded. "High Commander, a small vessel is approaching from the 3rd planet," reported a junior officer. High Commander Zivtal, the leader of the research mission, stood up straight. His skin changed from calm blue to alert orange. "They shouldn't have detected us through our cloaking field," he said. "These humans are more advanced than we thought." "Should we retreat?" asked another officer. "No," Zivtal decided. "The Council wants first contact with this species. Let's show ourselves." The massive alien ship, hidden until now, slowly became visible. It was beautiful, like a giant silver leaf with glowing blue lines running through it. Inside the human shuttle, alarms went off. "What the?" Subin's eyes went wide. "Commander, something's appearing right in front of us." The team watched as a huge ship appeared from nowhere. It was at least 100 times bigger than their shuttle. "Hold position," Junho ordered, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "Tadwan, are you recording this?" "Every second," the scientist answered, his equipment capturing everything. A light on their communication panel blinked. "They're trying to talk to us," Hyunwoo said. Junho took a deep breath. "Open the channel." The screen lit up, showing a strange alien face. It had 4 eyes, gray skin, and no hair. When it spoke, their computer translated the sounds into words they could understand. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Galactic Confederation. We come in peace to welcome you to the wider community of intelligent life." The humans looked at each other in amazement. "I am Commander Junho Kim of Earth's Unified Space Command," Junho replied. "We welcome peaceful contact." The aliens seemed pleased. "Excellent. We invite you aboard our vessel for proper introductions." After a quick discussion, the team decided to accept. As their shuttle moved toward the massive alien ship, none of them knew that the Confederation had already made a dangerous mistake. They thought humans were like all other intelligent species, with built-in limits to how hard they would fight. They would soon learn how wrong they were. As the shuttle docked with the alien ship, Junho felt a mix of excitement and caution. Humanity's greatest adventure was about to begin. The inside of the alien ship was amazing. Junho, Taiwan, Subin, and Hyunwoo walked through halls that seemed to be made of living metal. The walls glowed with soft blue light. "It's beautiful," said Subin, her engineer's eyes taking in every detail. Their guide was a tall alien named Salvor. He had light purple skin and moved with grace despite his thin limbs. The asterisk Harmonious Convergence asterisk has been a research vessel for 300 of your Earth years, Salvor explained. We study new species before welcoming them to the Galactic Confederation. You've been watching us? Asked Hyunwoo, his security training making him suspicious. Only from a distance, Salvor assured them. We never interfere until a species reaches a certain level of technology. They entered a large round room where several aliens waited. Some looked like Salvor, but others were very different. One looked like a large insect. Another seemed to be made of crystal. High Commander Zivtal stepped forward. Welcome, humans. This is a historic day for both our peoples. 3 days later, a larger delegation from Earth arrived. Ambassador Yoonji Choi led a team of diplomats, scientists, and military observers. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and a calm voice that commanded respect. We are honored by your welcome, she said to the Confederation Council. Earth is excited to join the galactic community. The aliens seemed just as interested in humans as the humans were in them, but some of the aliens watched the humans with worry in their eyes. After the formal meeting, Yeonju was talking with Salvor when she noticed this concern. Have we done something wrong? She asked. Not at all, Salvor said quickly. It's just, your history is unusual. In what way? So much conflict. Most species stop fighting wars once they reach a certain level of advancement. Yeonji smiled. We're working on peace. Earth hasn't had a major war in 30 years. That's good to hear, Salvor said, but he still looked troubled. In another part of the ship, Hyunwoo was invited to join a combat training simulation. The aliens used a room where light became solid, creating practice opponents. Zevlak, a warrior from a species with tough red skin and 4 arms, showed Hyunwoo how it worked. It's just practice, but it feels real, Zevlak explained. We can stop any time by saying yield. Hyunwoo nodded and stepped into the training area. A light creature formed in front of him, holding a staff. Hyunwoo picked up a similar staff, and the match began. Many aliens gathered to watch. At first, Hyunwoo struggled against the faster opponent. He took several hard hits and fell down more than once. The aliens expected him to say yield when it was clear he was losing. But Hyunwoo kept getting up. Why doesn't he stop? One alien whispered to another. Perhaps he doesn't understand the rules, the other replied. Bleeding from a cut on his forehead, Hyunwoo studied his opponent's movements. He noticed a pattern. The next time the light creature attacked, Hyunwoo wasn't there. He had moved to the side and struck back hard. The light creature fell and didn't get up. The room went silent. The aliens stared with all their eyes. Good match, Hyunwoo said, breathing hard but smiling. Later, Kelfar and Zivtal watched recordings of the fight. He was clearly defeated, Zivtal said. His combat inhibition response should have activated. He should have yielded. But he didn't, Kelfar replied. And that's not the only strange thing. Look at these brain scans we took of the humans. The screen showed colorful images of human brains. I don't see it, Zivtal said. Exactly. Kelfar's 4 eyes blinked rapidly in excitement or fear. The surrender center is missing. All intelligent species have evolved with a neurological off switch that forces surrender when defeat is certain. It prevents needless death. Are you saying humans don't have this? They fight until they either win or... Kelfar didn't finish the sentence. Zivtal's skin turned a pale yellow, the color of fear. The Council must be informed immediately. The Galactic Confederation's High Council chamber was a huge room with seats for 50 different alien species. Today, all seats were filled. The topic, humans. They are dangerous, said Councillor Drez, a small green alien with 6 eyes. A species without a combat inhibition response cannot be trusted. We don't know if they're dangerous, argued Salvor. They've been peaceful so far. High Commander Zivtal stood in the center of the room. Our research shows humans fight past the point where any rational species would surrender. They ignore pain. They ignore certain defeat. They keep fighting. In the back of the room, a figure listened carefully. Min Jae Kang looked like just another human diplomat, but he was actually an intelligence officer. His job was to watch for threats to Earth. Right now, he didn't like what he was hearing. "We have two options," said the head counselor, an ancient crystal being. "Either we help the humans develop the proper biological limiters, or we contain them to their solar system." Min Jae slipped out of the room. He needed to warn Earth. On the diplomatic deck, Ambassador Yunji was showing alien representatives pictures of Earth. "This is Seoul, my home city," she said, "and this is the Pacific Ocean." Her alien audience seemed fascinated, especially by Earth's many different environments. But Yunji noticed they kept asking strange questions. "How do humans decide when to stop fighting?" one asked. "Have you ever felt your brain force you to surrender?" asked another. Yunji was confused. "We surrender when it makes sense to surrender. Nobody forces us." The aliens exchanged worried looks. Min Jae found Junho in the ship's garden area. The commander was admiring plants from 100 different worlds. "We have a problem," Min Jae said quietly. "The council thinks we're dangerous because we don't have something called a combat inhibition response." Junho frowned. "What does that mean?" "Apparently all other intelligent species have a biological off switch. When they're losing a fight badly, their brains force them to surrender. And we don't have that," Junho said, understanding now. "No, and it scares them." On the edge of the solar system, something moved. A dark ship, covered in spikes and weapons, watched the Earth and Confederation ships. Inside, Captain Drexnar of the Vectheri Empire clicked his sharp teeth together in pleasure. "So the Confederation has found another weak species to protect," he growled. His red eyes narrowed. "Prepare attack plans. We will destroy both the humans and any Confederation ships." The Vectheri were predators. For centuries, they had tried to conquer the Confederation worlds. The only thing stopping them was the Confederation's larger fleet. But the Vectheri were patient hunters. They waited for chances like this. "Captain," said his second-in-command, "our spies report something strange. These humans may not have the surrender response." Drexnar laughed. "Impossible. All prey have the surrender response. That's why they are prey." Back on Earth, Military Commander Ji Hyun-yoon received an urgent message from Min Jae. She read it in her office at Space Command Headquarters. Her face grew serious. "Get me the president," she told her assistant, "and prepare the defense fleet for possible deployment." Jae-hyun had always believed Earth should be careful with aliens. Now it seemed she was right. She looked at the star map on her wall. Earth was just one tiny dot in a vast galaxy. If the Confederation decided humans were too dangerous to be allowed freedom, Earth wouldn't stand a chance against their advanced technology. Unless they could prove humans weren't dangerous, or at least not dangerous to friends. "Send a message to Commander Junho," she ordered. "Tell him to be ready for anything, but avoid conflict at all costs. We need to show the Confederation we can be trusted." Little did she know that conflict was already on its way, and it wasn't coming from the Confederation. Ambassador Yunji sat in a meeting room with 5 Confederation scientists. They had been asking strange questions for hours. "Please explain again how humans handle defeat in battle," one scientist asked. Yunji sighed. "As I've said, we surrender when there's no hope of winning, and when surrender saves lives. But nothing in your brain forces you to surrender," the scientist pressed. "No, it's a choice we make." The lead scientist, Kelfar, touched a small device on the table. A soft hum filled the room. The other aliens seemed to relax, but Yunji felt nothing unusual. "Interesting," Kelfar said. Four eyes blinking rapidly. The pacification field has no effect on you. Yunji stood up, suddenly angry. Were you trying to use a weapon on me? Not a weapon, Kelfar explained quickly. The field simply activates the surrender response. All species feel a strong desire to stop fighting when exposed to it. All species except humans, Yunji said coldly. I want to speak with my team immediately. I'm afraid that won't be possible right now, Kelfar said. Two large security aliens entered the room. For everyone's safety, the human delegation will remain in protected areas until the council decides what to do. Yunji realized what was happening. This is imprisonment. We prefer protective custody, Kelfar replied. Junho tried his communication device again. Commander Kim to Ambassador Choi. Please respond. Nothing. He looked at Minjae, Tadwan, Subin, and Hyunwoo gathered in their quarters. Something's wrong. No one in the diplomatic team is answering. The Confederation has cut communications, Minjae said. We're being isolated. A soft knock at their door surprised everyone. Hyunwoo grabbed a metal bar from the wall as a weapon. Junho nodded, and Hyunwoo opened the door. Zalvor stood there alone, looking nervous. I need to speak with you, he said quietly. The council has made a terrible mistake. Junho let him in. What's happening? Your ambassador and her team are being held in protective custody, Zalvor explained. The council fears humans are too dangerous to allow free access to the galaxy. That's ridiculous, Subin said. The council tested a pacification field on your ambassador. Zalvor continued. When it didn't work, they panicked. What can we do? Junho asked. I can help you reach your people, but we must hurry. On the dark Vectheri ship, Captain Drexnar studied the tactical display. The Confederation ship is distracted with their new friends. He growled to his warriors. Their shields are weakened near the docking area. We strike there. His warriors, covered in armor with built-in weapons, howled in agreement. The Vectheri lived for battle and conquest. Remember, Drexnar said, use the fear pheromones. Once the Confederation crew smells them, their surrender response will activate. They'll be helpless. The warriors rubbed glowing gel on their armor. The gel contained the special chemicals that triggered the surrender response in other species. What about the humans? Asked his second-in-command. If they really have no surrender response, they may fight harder, Drexnar admitted. But they are few, and we are many. They will die like all the rest. Junho, his team, and Zalvor moved quietly through service tunnels in the giant ship. They were halfway to the diplomatic section when alarms began blaring. What's happening? Tadwan asked. Zalvor checked a display on the wall. His skin turned pale yellow. We're under attack. Vectheri ships have breached our outer hull. Who are the Vectheri? Hyunwoo asked, gripping his makeshift weapon tighter. The only predatory species in the galaxy that developed space travel, Zalvor explained, voice shaking. They hunt other intelligent species. The Confederation has held them back for centuries. The ship shook violently. The lights flickered. They've broken through, Zalvor whispered. Once they release their fear pheromones, the crew won't be able to fight back. Their brains will force them to surrender. Junho looked at his team. Then it's up to us. We need to reach the ambassador and the other humans. We're the only ones who can fight. Subin smiled grimly. Good thing we don't have an off switch. The sounds of battle filled the giant Confederation ship. Alarms blared. Distant explosions shook the walls. Screams echoed through the corridors. Junho, his team, and Zalvor reached a junction where 3 hallways met. They stopped when they saw a group of Confederation security officers standing completely still. The officers' weapons hung loose in their hands. Their eyes were open but empty. What's wrong with them? Subin asked. Fear pheromones, Zalvor whispered. Their combat inhibition response has activated. They can't fight back. Hyunwoo waved his hand in front of one officer's face. No response. Will they be like this forever? Tadwan asked. No, Vzalvor said. Once the danger passes, they'll return to normal. But until then, they're helpless. A loud crash came from the hallway ahead. 3 Vectheri warriors rounded the corner. They were tall, muscular aliens with scaly red skin and sharp teeth. They wore black armor covered in glowing green gel, the fear pheromones. Humans, 1 Vectheri growled, seeing Junho's team. They said you might fight back. Let's test that. Zalvor instantly froze, his body paralyzed by his biology. But the humans felt only normal fear, not the overwhelming surrender response that affected other species. Hyun-woo stepped forward, holding his metal bar. Stay behind me, he told the others. No, Junho said, picking up a weapon dropped by one of the frozen security officers. We fight together. The first Vectheri charged. It was faster and stronger than a human, but Hyun-woo had years of combat training. He dodged the alien's claws and struck hard with his metal bar. The Vectheri howled in pain. Junho fired the alien weapon. It shot a pulse of energy that knocked the second Vectheri backwards. Subin grabbed another dropped weapon and joined the fight. Min-jae pulled Ta-won and Hazalvor back to safety while the others fought. The battle was hard. The humans took hits that would have killed weaker beings, but they didn't stop fighting. The Vectheri were confused. They had never faced enemies who didn't activate the surrender response. Why won't you submit? The lead Vectheri snarled as Hyun-woo landed another blow. Not how we work. Hyun-woo grunted, blood running down his face from a cut. Finally, the last Vectheri fell. The humans were hurt but alive. We need to keep moving, Junho said, breathing hard. The diplomatic section isn't far. In another part of the ship, Ambassador Yunji and her team were locked in a large room. They could hear the alarms and feel the ship shaking. Something's happening, Yunji said. We need to get out of here. The door suddenly opened. A Confederation scientist rushed in, looking terrified. We're under attack, he said. Vectheri have boarded the ship. The crew? They can't fight back. Let us help, Yunji offered. The scientist hesitated. The council ordered you contained. We're the only ones who can fight, Yunji argued. You know this. After a moment, the scientist nodded. Follow me. Dr. Tadwan examined the green gel on the Vectheri armor while the others watched for more enemies. This is fascinating, he said. The pheromone is designed to trigger specific brain centers, but human brains are wired differently. We don't have the same neural pathways. Can you use this information? Junho asked. Taiwan nodded slowly. Maybe. If I had the right equipment, I might be able to create something that blocks the pheromones. It wouldn't help humans, but it could free the Confederation crew to fight back. The medical lab is 2 levels up, Zalvor said, finally recovering from his frozen state. But there will be Vectheri between us and there. Junho checked his weapon. Then we fight our way through. Min-jae, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. Commander, look. He pointed at a screen on the wall showing different parts of the ship. In one section, they could see more humans fighting Vectheri. That's the ambassador, Subin said. She's free, Junho said with relief. And fighting back. We need to reach her team and then get to the medical lab. Subin smiled despite her injuries. Seems the aliens are learning what happens when you fight humans. Yes, Zalvor said, watching the humans with new respect. No combat off switch means you keep fighting when others cannot. Kelfar watched the security feeds with growing amazement. All around the ship, Confederation crew members stood frozen, unable to fight back against the Vectheri invaders. But the humans were different. They fought. They bled. They kept going. Incredible, he whispered to himself. They truly have no surrender response. High Commander Zivtal entered the control room. Have you activated the emergency beacon? He asked. Yes, Kelfar replied. But the Confederation fleet is hours away. We won't survive that long. They both watched as the screen showed human Ambassador Yunji leading her team through a corridor. They were protecting frozen Confederation scientists, moving them to safety while fighting off Vectheri attackers. I may have been wrong about the humans, Zivtal admitted. I thought their lack of a combat-off switch made them dangerous. But today it's the only thing keeping us alive. Kelfar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. It's not that they don't have limiters, he said slowly. They have different ones. Look at how they're protecting our people, not just themselves. Junho and his team finally reached the diplomatic section. They found Ambassador Yunji and her group defending a large room full of Confederation civilians. "Commander," Yunji called out. "Good timing." "Ambassador," Junho nodded, noticing her bloody knuckles and torn clothes. She had clearly been fighting hard. "We need to get to the medical lab. Dr. Taiwan thinks he can create something to counter the fear pheromones." "That could save the ship," Yunji agreed. "But we have Vectheri between us and the medical section." Hyunwoo checked the weapons they had collected. "We have enough firepower, but we're all injured already." Minjae, who had been monitoring the ship's communications, spoke up. "I'm picking up a message on the emergency channel. Earth received the distress call. Commander Ji-hyun has mobilized our fleet, but they're still hours away. We can't wait for help." Junho decided. "We move now." In the ship's medical lab, Dr. Taiwan worked quickly. The room was secure for now, but they could hear fighting nearby. Subin and Hyunwoo guarded the doors while Junho, Yunji, and Zalvor helped Taiwan. "The Vectheri pheromones target a specific part of the alien brain," Taiwan explained as he mixed chemicals. "If we can create a blocker, it might free the Confederation crew from their paralysis." "Will it work?" Junho asked. "In theory," Taiwan replied. "But we need to test it." Zalvor stepped forward. "Test it on me." Everyone looked at the alien. He had been frozen with fear earlier, completely unable to help. "Are you sure?" Yunji asked. "Yes," Zalvor said. "Humans are fighting and dying to protect my people. I should take this risk." Taiwan sprayed his mixture onto Zalvor. Then he opened a container with the green gel from Vectheri armor. Everyone waited to see if Zalvor would freeze again. He didn't. "It's working," Taiwan said excitedly. "We need to spread this throughout the ship's air system." On the bridge of the Harmonious Convergence Kelfar and Zivtal received a message from Salvor explaining the plan. "Can we do it?" Zivtal asked his engineers. "Yes," one replied. "But someone needs to reach the Central Air Processing Unit. It's near the section where the Vectheri are most concentrated." Kelfar made a decision. "Send the formula to my pad. I'll go." "Why you?" Zivtal asked. "Because I was wrong about the humans," Kelfar said. "I thought they were dangerous because they don't surrender. Now I understand it's not a flaw. It's a different kind of strength. The ability to choose to continue fighting when biology says stop." The Confederation Emergency Council gathered in a secure communication room. Alien leaders from dozens of worlds watched reports from the Harmonious Convergence *. "The humans are defending our people," one counselor noted with surprise. "They could have escaped in their shuttle," another said. "Instead, they're fighting to save the ship." The head counselor, the ancient crystal being, glowed brightly. "Perhaps we misjudged them. A species without a combat-off switch is dangerous, yes, but perhaps that danger can protect the galaxy rather than threaten it." "I propose a vote," said another counselor, "to form an emergency alliance with Earth against the Vectheri threat." One by one, the counselors voted. The alliance was approved. Kelfar moved quickly through the ship's maintenance tunnels. He carried a container of Dr. Taiwan's anti-pheromone spray. His 4 eyes scanned for danger in all directions. He was scared, but the sight of the humans fighting had given him courage. When he reached the central air system, he found 2 Vectheri warriors guarding it. He hid behind a large pipe, trying to think of a plan. Suddenly, a sound came from behind the Vectheri. They turned to look. Kelfar was surprised to see Subin standing in the corridor, alone and injured. "Hey, ugly," she called to the aliens. "Looking for humans. Here I am." The Vectheri growled and moved toward her. As soon as they left their post, Kelfar ran to the air system controls. He poured the formula into the main intake and activated the emergency distribution system. The ship's computer announced, "Emergency air purification activated." Throughout the ship, a fine mist sprayed from ceiling vents. On the bridge, Zivtal watched as his crew began to wake up from their paralysis. The anti-pheromone was working. Confederation officers blinked, looked around in confusion, then grabbed their weapons. "The humans have given us a chance," Zivtal announced over the ship's communication system. "Now we fight back." In the main hangar bay, Captain Drexnar of the Vectheri received bad news from his warriors. "The Confederation crew is fighting again," his second-in-command reported. "The fear pheromones no longer work." Drexnar roared in anger. "How is this possible?" "The humans," came the reply. "They helped the Confederation create something that blocks our pheromones." "Then we finish this quickly," Drexnar decided. "Bring the disruptor weapon online. We'll destroy this ship and everyone on it." Commander Ji-hyun's fleet had arrived at the edge of the battle. 10 Earth ships, small compared to the alien vessels, but armed with the best weapons humans had created. Status report. Ji-hyun ordered from the bridge of her flagship Defender *. One large Confederation ship under attack by 3 Vectheri vessels, her officer reported. "The Confederation ship is damaged, but still fighting." Ji-hyun studied the tactical display. "The Vectheri ships are focused on their attack. They don't see us yet." She made her decision. "All ships, prepare for attack pattern Delta. Target the largest Vectheri vessel first." Back on the Harmonious Convergence Junho and Ambassador Yunjae had reached the bridge. They worked with Zivtal to coordinate the defense. "We've regained control of most sections," Zivtal reported. "But the Vectheri still hold the main hangar. And our sensors show they're powering up a powerful weapon." "What kind of weapon?" Junho asked. "A disruptor. It can tear a ship apart from the inside." Yunji pointed at the tactical display. "Those are Earth ships. Commander Ji-hyun's fleet is here." The display showed 10 human ships moving into attack position behind the Vectheri vessels. "They don't stand a chance against Vectheri technology," Zivtal said worriedly. "Don't underestimate humans," Junho replied with a smile. "Especially Ji-hyun." On the Defender Ji-hyun gave the order. "All ships, fire." 10 Earth vessels fired their main weapons at once. The energy beams hit the largest Vectheri ship from behind. Its shields, focused on the Confederation ship, weren't prepared for an attack from the rear. The Vectheri vessel shuddered under the impact. It wasn't destroyed, but its shields weakened. "They're turning to face us," Ji-hyun's tactical officer reported. "Good," Ji-hyun said. "That takes pressure off the Confederation ship. Begin evasive maneuvers. Don't give them an easy target." On the Harmonious Convergence Zivtal watched in amazement as the human ships darted around the much larger Vectheri vessels. They were smaller and less powerful, but they moved in unpredictable patterns, making them hard to hit. "Your ships fight like they have no fear," he said to Junho. "That's because their commander is Ji-hyun," Junho explained. "And she never gives up." "We should coordinate our attacks," Yunji suggested. "If your weapons target their engines, our ships can focus on their weapon systems." Zivtal nodded and began sending orders to his weapons officers. For the first time in the long conflict between the Confederation and the Vectheri, 2 forces fought together. Human determination combined with Confederation technology created something the Vectheri had never faced before. An enemy that would not surrender and now had the power to fight back. Captain Drexnar watched his tactical display with growing anger. The human ships were small but fast, darting around his vessels like insects. And now the Confederation crew was fighting back, their weapons firing from the damaged ship. "The disruptor is almost ready," his weapons officer reported. "One more minute." "Good," Drexnar growled. "Once it fires, both the Confederation ship and these human pests will be destroyed." His second-in-command looked worried. "Captain, the humans are not responding to our fear signals. And now the Confederation forces aren't either." "It doesn't matter," Drexnar said. "Our weapons are stronger. Fear is just a tool that makes victory easier." On the Harmonious Convergence Zivtal received an urgent message from his engineers. "The Vectheri disruptor is powering up," he told Junho and Yunji. "If it fires, it will destroy this ship and everything nearby, including your Earth vessels." "Can we destroy it?" Junho asked. "Not from here," Zivtal said. "The disruptor is deep inside their main ship. Our weapons can't reach it." Junho looked at the ship diagrams. "What about a boarding party? Could we reach it directly?" Zivtal's skin paled. "It would be a suicide mission. The Vectheri ship is full of warriors. Even if you reached the disruptor, you'd never escape before it overloaded." Junho nodded slowly. "Get me a communication line to Commander Ji-hyun. I need to explain my plan." Ji-hyun listened to Junho's voice over the secure channel. "The only way to stop the disruptor is from inside their ship," he explained. "I'm taking a team." "That's a one-way trip, Junho," Ji-hyun said quietly. "I know, but if we don't stop it, everyone dies." Ji-hyun closed her eyes for a moment. Then she issued new orders to her fleet. "All ships, focus fire on the main Vectheri vessel's docking bay. We need to create an opening." Junho assembled his team. Hyunwoo, Subin, and Tadwan. Min-jae would stay on the Confederation ship with Yunji to coordinate. "This mission is volunteer only," Junho told them. "We probably won't come back." "We know," Hyunwoo said simply. Subin nodded. "Someone has to do it. I studied their ship design." Tadwan added, "I think I can disable the disruptor if we reach it." Zalvor stepped forward. "I'm coming too." Everyone looked at the alien in surprise. "You don't have to," Junho said. "This isn't your fight." "Yes, it is," Zalvor replied. "You taught me something important. Sometimes you must keep fighting even when your brain tells you to stop." The small boarding craft launched from the Harmonious Convergence toward the Vectheri flagship. Earth vessels cleared a path, their weapons creating a gap in the enemy defenses. Inside the craft, Junho checked his team's weapons. They carried both human guns and Confederation energy weapons. "Remember the plan," he said. "We move fast, stay together, and head straight for the disruptor chamber." The craft crashed into the Vectheri ship's docking bay. Alarms blared as the humans and Salvor jumped out, firing at the surprised Vecthera warriors. "This way," Tadwan called, following the ship diagrams on his device. They fought through corridors full of enemies. Hyunwoo led the way, his combat training making him deadly even against the larger Vectheri. Subin protected Tadwan as he navigated. Junho and Salvor guarded their rear. They were all injured, bleeding, tired, but they kept moving forward. On the Vectheri bridge, Drexnar received shocking news. "Humans have boarded the ship. They're heading for the disruptor." "Impossible," Drexnar roared. "Stop them. Everyone, stop them." His officers looked confused. No species had ever dared to board a Vectheri ship. It was unthinkable. Suicidal. "Captain," his second-in-command said, "I don't understand. They must know they can't survive this. Why don't they surrender?" Drexnar had no answer. For the first time in his life, he felt something new, doubt. After fighting through dozens of Vectheri, Junho's team reached the disruptor chamber. The massive weapon pulsed with energy, nearly ready to fire. Taiwan rushed to the controls while the others defended the entrance. "I need 2 minutes." He shouted over the sounds of battle. "You've got it," Jun-ho replied, firing at incoming enemies. More Vecturi poured into the corridor. Su-bin was hit and fell to one knee, but kept firing. Hyun-woo stood in the doorway, using his body as a shield. Zalvor, despite a deep wound in his side, held his position. The Vecturi couldn't understand why these small creatures wouldn't give up. It made them hesitate, confused by an enemy that had no fear of death. "Almost there," Tai-won called. "Just a few more seconds." Jun-ho smiled through blood-stained teeth. "No off switch," he said quietly. The moment had arrived. Jun-seo had worked tirelessly for weeks, pushing himself and Ara as hard as they could go. Each day they made small steps forward, but there was always that fear in the back of his mind. What if they couldn't go any further? What if Ara's body just couldn't handle the strain? But today, something felt different. The air in the room was heavy with anticipation, yet filled with hope. Jun-seo had a feeling that this was it. Ara was ready. She lay in bed, her body resting after the morning's therapy. Her movements had grown stronger over time, but she still struggled to regain full control. Her fingers could now move on command, and she could lift her arms without trembling too much. Still, her legs were weak, and the thought of standing seemed impossible. But today, Jun-seo believed it could happen. He leaned over her, gently brushing a strand of hair away from her face. "Ara," he said softly, his voice filled with warmth. "Are you ready?" Ara's eyes flickered open. There was no hesitation in her gaze this time. She looked at Jun-seo, and for the first time in a long while, there was no fear in her eyes, just determination. She nodded slowly. Jun-seo's heart raced. He adjusted the neural stimulator for the last time, making sure every setting was perfect. He had done everything he could. Now, it was up to Ara. "Okay," Jun-seo said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Let's do this." "Ara." Ravak was standing by the door, watching with quiet hope. He hadn't spoken much lately, but his presence was constant. His eyes were fixed on his daughter. He knew how much this meant, not just for Ara, but for all of them. The room fell silent as Jun-seo activated the stimulator. The quiet hum of the machine was the only sound, a reminder of how far they had come. Ara's body began to respond almost immediately. Her fingers twitched, then her hand slowly lifted off the bed. Her arm rose shakily, but it stayed in the air longer than before. Ravak stepped forward, his breath catching in his throat. "She's moving. She's really moving." Jun-seo nodded, watching Ara closely. She wasn't just moving now. She was pushing herself. With each effort, her body responded a little more. Her legs twitched, and though they remained weak, they seemed to be waking up, just like her arms had. A moment of silence passed, and then, with a deep breath, Ara tried to sit up. Her body trembled with the effort, but she didn't stop. Slowly, she raised her upper body, her hands gripping the edge of the bed. Her legs remained stiff, but there was a spark of life in them. The muscles were beginning to respond. "Ara," Jun-seo said, his voice barely a whisper. "You're doing it." With a final push, Ara lifted her legs off the bed, sitting fully upright. She swayed for a moment, trying to find her balance. Her face was pale from the strain, but her eyes were wide with disbelief. She was doing it. She was sitting up. After all the months of being paralyzed, she had taken the first step toward standing again. Ravak's heart soared. He couldn't hold back his tears. His daughter was alive again in a way he hadn't believed possible. Jun-seo stepped forward, a proud smile on his face. "You've done it, Ara. You've done it." Ara's breathing was heavy, but she managed a weak smile. I can feel it," she said softly, her voice shaky. "I can feel my body again." Ravak knelt beside her, taking her hand in his. "I knew you had it in you, Ara. You've made me so proud." Jun-seo stood back, watching the reunion. It wasn't just about healing her body. It was about giving her back a future, a chance to live fully again. The road ahead was still long, but this moment marked the turning point. Ara wasn't just fighting to recover. She had already done something many would have thought impossible. But this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. "I'll be here with you," Jumseo said, his voice full of quiet assurance. Every step of the way. The three of them sat together for a while, surrounded by the silence of the medbay. But there was a warmth between them that hadn't been there before. The long nights of doubt, the endless therapy, the fear, they were all behind them now. Ara had made it. She had pushed past the limits of what they thought possible, and in doing so, she had proven something powerful, not just to herself, but to everyone around her. With time, Ara would regain more of her strength. She would learn to walk again, to run again. It wouldn't happen overnight, but she was no longer the girl who had been lying still in the medbay, unable to move. She was someone else now, someone who had fought and won. The journey had been long, but it was worth it. And no matter what happened next, they had proven one undeniable truth. With enough determination, even the impossible could become possible.